So that was Thunderuncle doing 40 Miles. And as I said, that was here at Zaphod's a few weeks back. You guys were opening for Imperial State Electric. And I think that was a pretty big deal for you. Like not only the band itself, but the Swedish thing in general. Like pretty major influences going on.
I think so. I think I can only speak for myself, and I'll speak for Joe. And I think both of us have, have a lot of sort of respect for the Swedish rock scene that emerged largely in the 90s. Bands like the Helicopters, later bands like the Hives, and bands like that as well. Just for such a small country, so much great music coming out of there, and there being a real scene where they seem to support one another. They seem to tour together a lot, and being as soon as that show was announced, literally I got a Facebook feed from the guys putting it on, and I was literally within 10 seconds I was back and saying we have to open for these guys. Was willing to do pretty much anything to do that. Luckily didn't have to do anything, but it was something we definitely looked forward to in the lead up.
There was a little language barrier with a couple of them, but really nice, and we hung out and just talked about
rock.
Nothing really.
Language barrier is mostly on our problems. Mostly our Swedish is terrible. But I thought the telltale sign about how just down to earth and sort of regular guys they were. There's, they were the ones who came up and introduced themselves to us, and started asking us questions. And, we talked, they had played in Toronto the night before, and we talked, and there were some, common touch points that we had. And then what was really funny is they said, we're in Montreal tomorrow, and, I forget who it was, but one of us said, well, watch your gear in Montreal. And his eyes open. He goes, somebody in Toronto said the same thing. And we said, it's getting a bad reputation for that. He says, shit, well, we have 2 days off in Montreal. They've got to store their equipment for 2 days. They're super paranoid, but it sounded like they're having a fun time on the tour for sure.
We told them to make sure they just park the van against a wall.
Right, yeah. Now, previously, you mentioned that you have been or are planning to record. What's the story there? How's that progressing?
Well, we've recorded on and off since we started, really, and never really finished anything up. I think part of the reason behind that is that Dave Dudley, our drummer, who also owns Dave's Drum Shop and is a sponsor here, he has a recording studio in the shop.
Okay.
So when there's no pressure for cost and time, I think we're
you take your time,
taking our time, and not really feeling any pressure from any side. So
sure,
which is great. It's great fun to be in the studio with no pressure, but it also, for 4 or 5 40-year-old guys who are doing this as a hobby, it doesn't really make things get done very quickly.
There's constantly riffs and great portions of songs. We record everything that we record, and then nobody listens to them again. And then the next week we're like, how about this riff? And it's like, I think that was the riff from last week. Okay. And the next week you're like, remember that riff from last week and the week before? Yeah. It's the sort of double-edged sword of being in a band where you're friends with people, and there's not a dominant alpha personality in the band. I've played in dozens of bands over my life, and generally speaking, there usually is somebody, whether it's the person who just loves to organize or the person who writes everything or something. There's some sort of focal point where everything sort of revolves around, or even a couple of people like that. For us, it's like we're all just like the biggest fans of one another. Like, that's a great idea. And there's no shutting down. Like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. We can't do that again. Everyone's just super happy about it, and that's so. Like I said, it makes it super fun. It makes it worth looking forward to. But from a productivity standpoint, it's probably not the best business model.
It's the Ottawa tradition, right? We're governing by committee.
Right. Definitely.
So nothing ever actually gets done, but we're getting there. We've made progress.
Even rock and roll can be bureaucratic in this town. Bop. Okay, what the hell am I going to say? Well, we're going to do one more song from Thunderuncle. This is called Emergency Room.
It's something that happens periodically. I do wear a helmet.
Who's on trial?
Yeah, but it's definitely created some very interesting stories. Usually very low speed crashes, but a lot of them.
Not a lot of kinetic energy.
Sometimes
Bites.
while eating cheesies. There's been some good accidents.
This song, I think, is the oldest remaining one that we actually play still regularly.
Yeah, this is the only song that I wrote that we still play. Literally before the band started, I wrote a few songs to start something, and this is the last one of that sort of style. I was new to playing guitar, and it was sort of what I could do, and we've sort of grown beyond that. In the last few practices, I'm picking up the guitar again a little bit and seeing what happens with that. So the guys have all been very encouraging.
No, but this one survived too because it's a great little punk rock song.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go. Well, that sounds like a great place to wrap it up. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
Good
you.
to talk to you.
Awesome.
This is Thunderuncle Emergency Room. See you next time on the Revue.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that was painless.
Glad to hear it.
This one's the oldest one of our repertoire. It doesn't fit with any of the other songs. It's a bit of a punk song. I wrote it as a punk.
And it goes like...
And it goes like this.